Hello friends, it's Kayla. Today is a beautiful sunny day. I feel like it has been just overcast and depressing as hell with the snow that we've had the last week and a half. It is still snowy and cold, but the sun is out and I'm so grateful for it. I went for a nice long walk this morning, appreciated the sunshine, and now we're here. I'm just looking at all of these books and I don't know where to start. Also, it means we're gonna contend with the lighting, so hopefully that doesn't bother you. I don't think it does. I probably titled this video something about the Goodreads Awards just because the Goodreads Awards just, came out the first round. And I did go out and buy some of these yesterday because of that. But also I just picked up a lot of these recently and they happen to coincide with a lot of things that you see in the Goodreads Choice Awards. So to be fair and follow through with the clickbait, we'll start here. In the fantasy category this year, you'll see Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. And I recently picked this up because I've decided 2023 is going to be my cozy fantasy era. I've heard that this takes place in a cafe. Obviously we have some creatures and it's just like slice of life, what they're doing in their job. It says a must read for every D&D player, which is not me, but Sean McGuire blurbed it and Sean McGuire is for me. It says a novel of high fantasy and low stakes. Viv wants to put the blade behind her. She's had a lifetime of bounties and bloodshed, and now she's going to meet a lot of travelers that come into the coffee shop. Also in the fantasy category, I saw this one, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana, which I also picked up recently for my cozy mystery new lifestyle, if you will, because I heard it was about witches. One of the few witches in Britain, Mika, is hiding her magic, keeping her head down, staying away from other witches, but now suddenly she's been entrusted with teaching 3 young witches how to control their magic. It sounds nice. This one being in the Goodreads Choice Awards didn't make me pick it up, but I did pick this up yesterday because it reminded me that I needed to buy it and it was on sale. It's Our Missing Hearts by Celeste Ng, who I have to include in my 3rd season of the 3rd Times a Charm series next year because I've given her books both 5 stars before this one. And I don't actually know what this is about, but it would be silly for me to not pick it up. 12-year-old Bird lives a quiet existence with his loving but broken father, a former linguist who now shelves books in the local university library. Oh wait, I have read this before. I think I read you this synopsis in one of those videos where I just read you a lot of book synopsis. Books have been consistently removed. I think it's like a commentary on banned books, at least one portion of it. And a lot of books have been removed from this library because they're seen as not patriotic enough, especially ones that have an Asian origin. Our main character, her mother is a Chinese American poet and she left the family quite recently. So I think it's on a journey to either find her or get to know her better or make her work seen, something like that. Next up, I was really excited to see Jackal in the mystery thriller category because I picked this up recently. I feel like I've hauled it before, but I think it's just that I've held it up in so many videos, like TBRs, probably mini hauls that I do within my vlogs. It's Jackal by Erin E. Adams. And this is about a woman named Liz coming back to her small, predominantly white town where Black girls have consistently gone missing, and she is going to solve the mystery or attempt to solve the mystery. I'm sure she has her own background with something that happened to her, and she's going to discover all of the horrifying secrets about her town. Then where should we go from here? In the horror category, you'll find these 3. This one I showed in my recent TBR, so I was so excited to see it in that category. It's The Cherry Robbers by Sarah Walker, and it has to do with this curse and this family of sisters, and every time one of them gets married, she dies the next day, and we're following the youngest girl in the family where she's trying to break the curse. Oh, sorry, she's the 2nd youngest. It takes place in 1950s Connecticut, and it says it's a gothic, twisted feminist tale. Then we've got Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison, which is a cover I'm so in love with. The combination of pink and red I just adore. And this is a werewolf story. A young woman in need of a transformation finds herself in touch with the animal inside. Basically, this woman hits an animal with her car. She goes out to investigate and she gets bitten. We're gonna see how that goes. And then I've got White Horse by Erica T. Worth, which I talked about earlier this year in an anticipated list. I think I forgot what this was, or I was mixing it up with another book that I included in the video that this was featured in, because I thought this was more of a thriller, but it's clearly a horror. This is the one where there's a family bracelet and there's a ghost of her mother and also a monstrous entity following her. She's haunted by visions of her mother and she needs to find out what happened to her. Then also in the fantasy category, of course, is Babel. I have no plans to read this like by the end of the year by any means, but I am curious if I can get to it in January. If you know the content I usually do in January, cross your fingers for me that this is something that I will get to. It's by R.F. Kuang. I got the Indigo exclusive, which, I don't know, it includes something special. This is a historical fantasy, dark academia. It's all about language, and we have a main character named Robin who studied in Latin and Greek and Chinese, all in preparation for the day he'll enroll in the prestigious translation institute known as Babel. There's silver working, which is like the fantasy magic in here. Fantasy magic, as opposed to the other types of magic. And it's about knowledge and colonization and war and a lot of great conversations. I've heard nothing but good things about this. And then in the sci-fi category, I didn't buy this, but Tor sent it to me. It's Leech by Hiran Ennis. Again, I talked about it recently in, I think, my winter TBR. It takes place in this isolated chateau just known as the Institute. And the Institute helps humanity to cure, to cut, to cradle, and protect the species that lives within it. It like takes root in people's minds. It protects them all from this like apocalypse. But now there's a parasite traveling through the chateau and the people. And I don't understand what's going on, but I'm very intrigued. I think that might be everything. However, there are also some things that were in like previous years' Goodreads Choice Awards. So let's transition to that, because I think some of you will be very excited that I finally picked up The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I'm hesitant about this, but I guess it's about a group of retirees and they have a murder club where they solve murders, but then maybe there's an actual murder like in their retirement village and they have to solve a real one. I think that's the vibe. This is a whole series, and one of the sequels, I don't know, it's probably I think it's the third one, is in the Goodreads Choice Awards this year. And then, was it last year or the year before? Look what I found on sale. Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. I've been planning to read this. I've had the video planned for this for a long time. I just need to finally get around to it and read some stuff that I've had anticipated for like multiple years running. In this, the Telegraph Club is a lesbian bar that takes place during the paranoia of the Red Scare, and we're following Lily, whose father is facing deportation. She's also falling in love with a girl named Kath, and Lily and Kath risk everything to let their love see the light of day. I'm assuming Severance by Ling Ma has been in the Goodreads Choice Awards just because it's like won other things. Okay, yes, it was in the sci-fi category, which I'm sure makes sense if I knew what this was about. Look how beautiful the pink is. Did I buy it because it was beautiful and pink and heavily discounted? Maybe. Reason number 2 though, I saw it was referred to as satire. Where's the synopsis? There isn't one. We don't get to know. Candace is a millennial drone, self-sequestered in a Manhattan office tower and devoted to routine. She barely notices when a plague of biblical proportions sweeps New York. She comes into contact with a group of survivors traveling to a place to start a new society. But now she's questioning if the people who rescued her have really rescued her. Also, I think I've seen like Foe by Ian Reid has definitely been in the Goodreads Choice Awards, and everybody has told me to read it. After I gave 3 stars to I'm Thinking of Ending Things, everyone was like, can you just go read Foe already? And it's been years now. And it's one of those books like I'm Thinking of Ending Things that everyone is like, I can't tell you what it's actually about, just go into it not knowing anything, which is also what people say about We Spread. Like, you never really know what you're getting into, and like that's okay. So this says that we're following a couple living on an isolated farm, and one of them has been selected to travel away from the farm, very far away. But Hen won't have a chance to miss him at all because she won't be left alone. Not even for a moment. Hen will have company, familiar company. That sounds like they give her like a clone husband. Is that the plot? Is that the twist? Anyway, I'm gonna read it. I assume this one also has been in the Choice Awards because I've seen it a lot and I found it at the thrift store. A Mind Spread Out on the Ground by Alicia Elliott. It's a nonfiction history memoir about the treatment of Native people in North America, about intergenerational trauma, and an insight into the ongoing legacy of colonialism. I think The Ballad of Black Tom would have been in the 2016, yes, Goodreads Choice Awards. This was also sent to me by Tor so kindly. This is like the new hardcover edition, and there's a new afterword included in here about like why he wrote this story, the H.P. Lovecraft situation, and why this was an important story for him to tell. It takes place in a deeper realm that he finds through going through this magical book, and I'm definitely interested to read it. Then I picked up Of Women in Salt by Gabriela Garcia. This is a cover I adore, and I'm also gonna do a weird vlog where I read books with salt in the title because I feel like I keep picking up books with salt in the title. In it, we're following Jeanette, who is the daughter of Carmen, a Cuban immigrant. Carmen is wrestling with the trauma of displacement and is processing her difficult relationship with her own mother while trying to raise a wayward Jeanette. Jeanette travels to Cuba to see her grandmother, so we're following like 3 different generations, and it's about memories and legacy and the choices that mothers make. It's very short, and I want to read it. I feel like I need to finish every single, like, how do I transition from book to book besides going, I want to read it? Like, obviously I want to read it. I bought it. And now my battery light's flashing. Hold on. Have I really been talking that long? Goodness. Okay. A pre-order that I ordered, I made came in called Small Game. This is by Blair Braverman, also featured this recently in my TBR, and it's about a survival reality TV show where it goes wrong because one of the contestants dies or goes missing. Maybe I just like made that up. Hold on. It says when the cast wakes one morning to find something has gone horribly wrong, fear ripples through the group. Soon Mara and the others face terrifying decisions as survival becomes more than a game. Yeah, I for sure made it up that somebody's dead or missing. Imagine being an author and like watching someone haul a book of yours and just completely get the synopsis wrong, but like you'd feel weird being like, that's not what my book's about. Good Lord. Now I really need to read it so I can tell you if that's true or not. Anyway, also grabbed Jamila Green Ruins Everything by Zarka Nuaz. This is one of my favorite books of the year. I read a library copy as part of like my fun mystery series. I can't call it cozy mystery because this deals with so many very intense topics, but it is satire. Basically, we're following these 2 people. Their new friend gets recruited by a terrorist organization. They go to the police for help. The police think they're involved, and now they're on their own, getting interrogated, going, traveling places, integrating themselves into terrible situations and organizations to try to get their friend out. All while grappling with her relationship with her religion and leaving her family behind, and lots of wild antics. Another satire I grabbed is Glory by Violet Bulawayo. This I read in the music vlog, and I've never had to pitch this before because I found out what it was about in that vlog and never really gave the synopsis. So it is a reflection of the Zimbabwe political situation. A couple years ago, a man in power for decades and decades, the impact that he had, the coup that occurred, and like the exchange of power and how it affected everybody who lived there, everybody who currently lives there, but the people are represented by different animals. So like there's a horse and a pig and a goat, and it's like kind of similar to Animal Farm, but it's just a really stunningly written story, very deep, very involved and intricate and good. It was a good one. I also bought Secluded Cabin Sleep 6 by Lisa Unger. I don't know when I'm gonna get around to this, but I saw a little sale sticker on it, and I was buying a whole bunch of other stuff, so I was like, throw it in the basket. This was one of my like most anticipated thrillers of the year. I was thinking about it for the book club. Maybe it would still be a good pick for next year, or maybe there are people who are reading this for their book club. I feel like that's a thing. But we're following 3 couples in a luxury cabin on a weekend getaway, but then there's a big storm and I think they're trapped inside, and all of their secrets amongst each other are going to get revealed. I also spotted this, which is We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix. I think the only Grady Hendrix that I don't already own. I still haven't read Horror Store, but I've read all of his other things, and I didn't actually read the synopsis of this. Every morning, Chris wakes up in hell. Hey, it's the 1990s. She was the lead guitarist of Dirt Work, a heavy metal band on the brink of breakout success, until lead singer Terry Hunt embarked on a solo career, blah, 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 blah. Now she's tired, broke, unhappy, working just like a normal job, and a shocking act of violence turns her life upside down, and she suspects that Terry sabotaged more than just the band. Now she wants to reunite everybody and confront the man who ruined her life. I'm not going to say no to a Grady Hendrix, so I will read that someday. I'll read it after Horror Store, promise. And then to finish it off, 3 books that were kindly sent to me by publishers. So we've got Spite House by Johnny Compton, which I'm very excited to read, and maybe not by myself. We're following a man who is on the run from a mysterious past with his 2 daughters in tow. They move into this place called the Mason House, where spooky things start happening. Basically, every caretaker who lives there goes mad, and they have to just live there, record everything that happens within it, and try not to lose their minds. It's about grief and death and the depths of a father's love. So we'll see how that goes next year. I also was at The Gathering Dark. This is edited by Tori Bovolino, and it's an anthology of folk horror from a lot of YA horror authors that I've read from. We've got Erica Waters, Courtney Gold, Tori Bovolino, a bunch of other people who you might have heard of. And it says there's a cemetery of the restless dead, a town so wicked it's already burned down twice, a rural isolated bridge with a terrifying monster, a lake that allows the drowned to return. It says these are shadowed liminal spaces where curses and monsters lurk, refusing to be forgotten. This was one of my anticipated horror reads this year, horror anthologies. The cover is so stunning. So wish me luck that I complete it by the end of the year. And finally, Sister Maiden Monster by Lucy A. Snyder, which I put on my TBR before I recognized that horror sci-fi isn't my favorite combination of genres, but I am excited to have been sent it, and I'm going to give it a couple chapters at least. A virus tears across the globe, transforming its victims into nightmarish ways. We're following 3 women, one who's quiet and closeted, one who's a professional BDSM switch, and one who's plagued with chronic tumors and is too horrified to acknowledge her divine role in the coming apocalypse. It says it's a cosmic tale about the planet's disastrous transformation and what we become after. Maybe it's more sci-fi, less horror? I've been intrigued. The cover frightens me. And that's the last book in this haul. As always, let me know in the comments if you've read any of these already or ones that you have just learned about that you're intrigued by. If you made it to the end, I haven't done this in a while, leave me an emoji of like a creature, whether it's an octopus, maybe a, oh, is there a wolf, a werewolf emoji? Or maybe something that represents these guys. Whatever floats your boat. I'll see you later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. What was that?